Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Wagner, and I'm editor-in-chief here at Finder US. And I'm excited to welcome you to Finder's very first webinar, what we're calling 50 Sneaky Ways to Find $500 in Your Budget. You're going to hear from our team of financial experts who spend their days researching and analyzing and comparing the best products, brands, services, and strategies out there for just about any budget or financial goal. They're going to help us uncover up to $500 in your budget through hacks, apps, and what I don't want to call tricks, because we're certain each of you will walk away with new ideas to strengthen your financial health today. No tricks needed. We pulled together our 50 tips from Finder's own team of personal finance experts, as well as from money-saving friends in the industry and around the web. A few of those friends are actually with us here today. So before we get started, show of hands. How many of you have heard of Finder before this webinar? You can click the hand button at the bottom of your screen. We're wavering between 5 and 6. Okay. Well, that is good to know. For those of you who are just getting to know us, Finder is a comparison website committed to helping people make unfamiliar financial decisions with confidence. We cover everything from credit cards and personal loans to bank accounts and insurance with a healthy dose of retail therapy. It is a lot, and it's a lot of fun. And to cover so much, our writers and editors go deep with their research. They build in insider knowledge into simple, no-nonsense guides and objective reviews that tell it to you straight without talking down. You can think of us as a helpful arm around your shoulder, one that will never tell you to skimp on the things that make you happy. So after this webinar, you can keep an eye on your inbox. There'll be budgeting worksheets, a searchable ebook covering today's tips, plus a few other goodies. And finally, please drop any questions you have along the way in the Q&A box. Our incredible senior editor, Jen Gimbel, will make sure that we'll get to them at the end of the webinar. And now I am going to introduce you to the team of 7 experts you'll hear from today. First is Sarah George. Sarah is an insurance writer who's published more than 500 articles on our site. She spends most of her days unraveling the ins and outs of car, home, and travel policies. Also on our insurance team is Katya Urbasi. Katya is a respected journalist and an authority in the industry whose expertise is featured on Forbes, Best Company, and Financial Advisor, and across more than 400 articles on our own site. Next up, Gabrielle Pastorek. Gabrielle leads our shopping team and has written more than 800 articles on the best deals, coupons, and retailers to help you save money online. And from our loans team, we've got senior writer Anna Serio. Anna is a trusted lending expert and certified commercial loan officer who's written over 1,000 articles on Finder, covering personal, student, business, and car loans. Joining us from our banking team is Alexa Serrano. Alexa is a certified anti-money laundering specialist and Finder's banking editor, helping readers find the strongest rates and lowest fees to take advantage of the best checking, savings, and CD accounts on the market. Rounding out our insurance team is Megan Shepard. Megan is a licensed insurance agent and Finder's insurance editor who's committed to analyzing trends and helping readers better understand their coverage options. And for more shopping know-how, we've got Cheryl Wagman. Cheryl's our shopping editor and a longtime beauty and style blogger with several journalism awards under her belt. So remember that you can drop any questions you have in the Q&A box and we'll address them at the end of the webinar. So let's kick it off with a handful of sneaky ways to get retail ready before you shop from Gabrielle Pastorek and Cheryl Wagman.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cheryl Wagman. I'm the shopping editor here at Finder, and I'll be talking about our first tip, which is the wait a week rule. So to help curb impulse shopping, a good rule of thumb is to wait a week before making any fun purchases like clothing, new books or movies, and home decor. And if after a week you're still thinking about that item, then you can shop around for it. This is especially helpful if you're guilty of retail therapy. A lot of people find that when they use this rule, they've actually forgotten about the item they were going to purchase after a few days anyway.
Hello, I'm Gabrielle Pastorek. I'm a shopping publisher here at Finder. And the first tip I have today is to beware of sales. We're just coming out of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, so I know deals are on everybody's brain right now. But just because an item is marked down doesn't mean you have to buy it or that it will save you money if you weren't going to buy it anyway. So if something that was $100 is marked down to $50 and you weren't going to buy it, but you spend the $50, you've now spent $50 more than you were going to spend. So just be aware of that when you see deals flashing before your eyes all holiday season. And kind of along with this, another tip is just to bear in mind that the time of year to buy certain big ticket items can help you maximize your savings. So for example, just because grills are advertised as on sale everywhere right before Memorial Day doesn't mean that this is necessarily the best time to buy one. You'll likely find bigger discounts on things like that out of season.
Hey everyone, I'm Katya. I cover insurance and personal finance here at Finder. Let's talk cashback apps. So there are a bunch on the market. You might have heard of Rakuten, Ibotta, Rebate Key, and Shopkick, just to name a few. And the reason why I like these apps is because they don't encourage you to change your buying behavior. Instead, they just reward you for everyday spending, aka things that you're buying anyway. So it's a really good idea to shop through these cashback sites and apps to generate extra savings. For example, I use an app called Dosh, which partners with a range of brick and mortar stores and online businesses like Sephora, Costco, and Old Navy. It's connected to your debit or credit card. So whenever you make a purchase at any of these stores, you'll automatically get cashback that's equal to a percentage of your purchase. Zero effort on your part.
Hi, I'm Alexa Serrano, the banking editor at Finder. So another good way, if you're going to be shopping anyway, is to use a rewards credit card where you can earn cash back by using it, or you can purchase items by using your rewards points instead. But if you don't want to use your credit, there are also debit cards and prepaid cards that also offer cashback rewards. For example, there's a Discover Cashback debit card that will give you $30 back a month, which would be equivalent to about $360 a year that you'd be getting back in cash. And there's also cash management accounts out there like SoFi Money that will give you up to 15% in cash back on eligible stores and restaurants.
So discounted gift card websites are perfect to take advantage of during the holidays. Just to name a few, there's Raise.com, Cardpool, and giftcards.com, and they offer discounts of up to 35% for not just store cards, but restaurants too. So if you tend to splurge on dining out, think about using gift cards rather than cash or paying with your debit card. You can limit yourself to $50 to $100 for the month or whatever your budget is on a gift card to your favorite restaurant. And when you run out, you'll have to wait to get your fix until next month. Over time, you may see you've been spending far more than you initially thought. And another good tip is to check if a discounted gift card website is legit by looking at the How It Works page to make sure the site guarantees the value of the gift cards it sells. So make sure you review the site's return policy before buying and avoid buying cards from any sites that don't have customer-friendly policies in place.
Another easy tip when you're shopping is to use cash whenever possible. Using cash makes you physically see how much money you're actually spending, which can help you curb spending habits or at least make you think twice before making an impulse buy. There's also a new reverse ATM. It's called the XTM kiosk, and it's being installed across the country, so it should be more widely available for everybody. This will convert your cash into a prepaid card in about a minute, so you can avoid overspending and overdraft fees that would come along with a regular debit card. The next tip is to get familiar with price matching policies. This is definitely an important tip whenever you're looking for something that is a big ticket item. I know my husband had his eye on a log splitter for several months, and we just happened to be shopping somewhere farther away from home that we don't normally shop at, and he noticed that it was the same log splitter was on sale for about $200 cheaper. So we then went to our local store, told them about the price, they verified it, and he got the same log splitter he would have bought anyway for $200 cheaper. So it's definitely worth kind of shopping around for big ticket items like that. But you do have to look out for loopholes with price matching policies, especially this time of year, because a lot of stores will put a freeze on that offer during the holiday shopping season. So read the fine print before you splurge on a big purchase that you think you might be able to get price matched or reimbursed for from another store. This also normally clearance items, final sale items, those are normally not eligible for price matching. So just keep that in mind.
So shopping for refurbished goods is not only good for the planet, but you're also more likely to get a quality product for a cheaper price than if you went to the actual store. And this especially applies to furniture. Apartment Deco is a great site where you can buy gently used and sometimes actually even new out of the box furniture from places like Pottery Barn and West Elm for a steep discount. Another option is to look at Facebook Marketplace or even Nextdoor. You can find a lot of your neighbors giving away or selling items that they don't need anymore. I've actually even seen place that's worth up to $5,000 on these sites simply because parents were just trying to get rid of them because their kids outgrew them. So it really pays to look around. And one more tip, if you're in the New York City area, you should check out the Instagram account Stooping NYC. It was set up to help people nab furniture treasures that are put out on the curb. They post photos of the items and where they're located. But even if you're not in New York, you should check around your own city for similar accounts.
In a similar vein, don't forget that you can borrow things from friends or family members that you might only need once or twice and then never use again. I know in the age of Amazon, it's really easy to just order something that you think you need immediately when it pops into your head. But before you feel tempted to click purchase, decide if it's something that you could possibly borrow from somebody. I know me and Finder team members have borrowed things like clutches for weddings, other wedding items for decor, books for the beach, slow cookers, air fryers, things like that, saving potentially thousands over the years. Of course, if you're going to do this, make sure you reciprocate and let friends and family know what you have that maybe they could borrow from you if they ever need it.
Great. Now our shopping team will focus on simple ways to cut costs out of your everyday shopping budget while continuing to nourish your mind, body, and soul.
So we'll start with renting books and magazines from the library. Most community libraries are completely free to join. So don't forget that you can rent books, magazines, ebooks, sometimes even DVDs and CD collections from your library for free. And students, don't forget to rent your textbooks from textbook rental websites like Amazon, Campus Book Rentals, Cheapest Textbooks, and Chegg to save a lot of money instead of buying these books that you're only going to read once and then find that it's very hard to resell them for anywhere close to the value.
So if you've ever shopped for plants, you know they can get expensive, especially with online delivery. But a free way to add some greenery to your home is to ask your friends, family, or even your neighbors if you can have just a few cuttings of their plants. You can even save seeds from fruits and vegetables and grow your own. This is especially relevant today with so many people stuck inside just looking to spruce up their homes.
Sign up for autopay with your phone bill to save money. Many phone companies like AT&T and Verizon will give autopay discounts for signing up for automatic payments from your bank account or credit card. I find that this also eliminates a headache of going through and making sure all your bills are paid. They just automatically come out of your account for you. And you can also use budgeting apps like Trim and Bill Shark that help to negotiate your bill down for you.
Negotiating your internet and cable bills is always a good idea. I know a lot of people who have called and complained about their rates rising, and they've gotten discounts on their monthly bills. And one Finder team member was actually able to negotiate her Sirius bill down from $300 per year to $79 per year, including the tax and service fees.
Take fitness classes and use free wellness apps through YouTube or Instagram. I know a lot of people are focused on at-home workouts and kind of DIY gym memberships at home right now. And you can actually save a lot of money by tuning into free YouTube or Instagram live workouts. Even virtual classes can sometimes set you back $10 or $30 in New York City. So tuning into these free classes can definitely save you over the long run. If you're a healthcare or essential worker, be on the lookout for free programs like meditation apps, Headspace, things like that. A lot of car manufacturers like Lincoln, American Express is also offering free subscriptions to healthcare workers, essential workers. So if you are eligible for something like that, definitely take advantage.
So shopping for your groceries online can definitely help you avoid making those impulse purchases that you might make if you're shopping in the store. Just be sure to compare fees from several services to find the best pricing. Some do tack on heavy order fees that can quickly multiply your total. But another option is to look into paid subscription boxes for groceries. The prices are often cheaper than going to your big box grocery store. So, for example, you can try Misfits Market. It's currently available in 35 states in the Northeast, South, and Midwest and has plans to expand. You can also look into local CSA where you live by doing a quick Google search.
Switch grocery stores and look into stores with perks if you're not already taking advantage of this. Most grocery stores now offer some sort of loyalty or fuel perks program. So if you're not already tuned in with your grocery store, go to the customer service desk and ask about how to sign up for free. If your grocery store doesn't offer this, consider switching to one that does. One Finder team member saves $10 to $20 each week by shopping at Winn-Dixie and Walmart instead of Publix. So this is definitely an easy way just to rake in a few extra perks throughout the week.
So if you are going to the store, a little psychological trick is to use a shopping basket instead of a cart. You'll be less likely to overspend since you can only buy as much as you can carry in your basket.
And don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry. It's easy to make impulse buys when you're hungry and scanning the shelves and you pick up things that you wouldn't normally buy. Along these same lines, try to bring a grocery list with you so you can stay on budget and avoid those impulse buys. And I would say the same goes for online grocery shopping. If you can stick to a list instead of just scanning and adding to your cart, that can help you stay on track.
Sharing subscription services with your friends and family can easily help you cut down on costs, especially if you're paying for all the most popular streaming platforms at once. Those little $10 charges here, $15 there, they quickly add up each month, especially if you're prone to renting new release movies too. One Finder team member shares Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Sling, Disney Plus, and HBO Now accounts with her 3 sisters, helping her save $60 a month.
Yeah, that is not me, but I do share a lot with friends and family. But now let's focus on a topic that gives many of us the adulting willies, insurance. Anybody who drives, rents, owns a home, or pretty much breathes knows that paying for an insurance policy is a fact of life. Our talented insurance writer, Sarah George, offers tips to untangling the mystery of saving money on your car and home policies.
Hi, I'm Sarah George, and I'm one of Finder's insurance writers, and there are several ways to stretch the dollars in your budget with your car or your home insurance. One of those ways is to look at discounts that you could qualify for, but you aren't currently. And one of those discounts to look at is your payment plan. So when you first started your policy, you might not have chosen to pay your premium in full. But if you can do that now, you could save 8 to 10% on your car insurance, or roughly $100 per year for the average driver. This will also help you bypass monthly processing fees, which could add another $50 to your yearly insurance costs. If you prefer not to pay your premium in full, most insurance companies also offer a discount for setting up automatic payments. And another steep discount to look at is for bundling all the insurance policies that you already have. Bundling can save you up to 30%, with the greatest discounts being for your car and your home insurance. Another big way to save is to switch your car insurance companies, which you can do at any time. Most companies will give you a prorated refund for any coverage you haven't used. So that means if you switch companies just after paying your monthly premium, you can get a refund for all or part of that month if you haven't finished out the month. As an example, switching car insurance recently saved me $250 for the year, and other Finder team members have saved over $500. The next step you can take is to review your car's details that are listed on your policy. Details like your mileage, your car's safety features, and the exact model listed can significantly affect your rates if they're incorrect or not up to date on your policy. One area to really pay attention to right now is your mileage if you've been driving less recently, and the mileage can be affected by lifestyle changes like if you're working from home. Our own Kelly Wagner recently saved $200 by updating her car's details on her policy. And while you're at it, while you're updating your car and your home's details, you can take a look at the coverage you currently have and cut out any fluff. So if you're driving less right now and you're staying close to home, you might not need extras like your roadside assistance. You can also check if your car warranty includes coverage like roadside assistance, so you're not double dipping on that coverage. Also, one thing to consider is if you keep your home insurance deductibles lower than you could pay for on your own. So the deductible is the amount that you pay before your insurance kicks in after damage. With home insurance, it's important to avoid making extra claims for damage to keep your insurance company happy, and extremely low deductibles could encourage you to make a claim for a lower cost repair that you could handle on your own. Over time, that might actually raise your premium in the long run. So to strike a balance, keep in mind that your home insurance is meant to help you pay for repairs that you couldn't pay for yourself.
Okay, I'll speak personally here. Before I joined Finder, I'd consigned myself to a lifetime of confusing health plans, premiums, fees. I hid from any decisions about my healthcare beyond opting into my plan each year. So today, our insurance editor, Megan Shepard, has tips that can help you take charge of your medical budget and avoid any confusion yourself.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'm the insurance editor here at Finder. So the first way to save on prescriptions is to switch to generic prescriptions. According to the FDA, generic prescription brands cost 85% less than brand name prescriptions on average. It's important to note that generic prescriptions are legally required to have the same active ingredients as their brand name counterparts. So if you've been taking an ongoing medication or your doctor prescribes you a new medication, don't assume that you've been prescribed your cheapest option. You can ask your doctor for a substitute brand, or in most cases, your doctor won't mark your prescription as brand necessary. So even if you're prescribed a brand name medication, once you speak with your pharmacist, you can request a generic version of that medication. Just be sure to update your doctor with your new meds. Also, as a tip, if generic brand of your prescription isn't available, you can ask your doctor if there's a similar drug that does have a generic version. The main point here is to be proactive about asking for alternatives to your brand name medications. When it comes to pharmacies, they don't all charge the same price for a prescription, even for commonly prescribed medications like high blood pressure medication. There was actually a study done by Consumer Reports that showed that prescription drug prices can vary by as much as 10 times between pharmacies, even within the same zip code. So each time you fill a new prescription, spend a little time comparison shopping between your local pharmacies. You can call your local pharmacies and ask for prices directly, or you can use an app like GoodRx or WeRx to compare prices. With those sites, you can plug the name of the medication, your dose, your quantity, and your zip code, and you'll see a list of prices at different pharmacies based on the coupons through the site. If you have a health plan with drug coverage, you might actually find that the insurance copay you'll pay is more than the retail price without insurance. So in some cases, you may even end up skipping insurance for a deal you find on one of the comparison tools. If you have regular prescriptions, sign up for your plan's mail order. So if you have a health plan with drug coverage, you most likely can opt into receiving your meds by mail, which usually just takes a few days and you won't have to pay any extra shipping fees. Basically, these online pharmacies partner with insurers and buy large quantities directly from drug companies so they can offer you discounts on medication that you order through the mail. In some cases, you can get 3 months worth of a prescription for the price of 2 through your pharmacy. If you don't have health insurance with drug coverage, there are other mail order pharmacy options. However, they usually include an order requirement, so you may have to pay shipping costs if you don't meet that requirement, which can run anywhere from $7 to $15 for standard shipping. Just be sure if you are going out on your own that you're using a certified, trusted e-pharmacy. Comparing prices for a lab test. So when it comes to your health insurance, your doctor may be part of your health insurance plan. However, the services or specialists that they recommend might not always be covered by your insurance. So don't assume the facility your doctor recommends has the best price or is always covered under your plan. Otherwise, you could unknowingly end up with a bill worth hundreds of dollars, thinking that your insurance was going to cover it. Remember, you can always request an in-network lab when you're speaking with your doctor. If your lab work is considered elective, if it's something you requested instead of your doctor, or if your plan includes a high deductible or copay for blood work. This is where shopping around to compare prices for the lab test can really save you money. You might find that the lab work as a cash patient is cheaper than your copay or than using an out-of-network lab. GoodRx actually has a new tool where you can do a price comparison between lab testing providers for certain lab tests, but there are others online like MD Save that can help you compare. Negotiate your out-of-pocket cost. So if you need a service that your insurance doesn't cover, don't just accept that you have to pay the cost out of pocket in full. This is where negotiating with your doctor can really save you a bundle. If you tell your medical office that you're going to be paying for a service out of pocket, or that your deductible is very high and you haven't met it yet, there's a good chance they can negotiate a discount for paying cash. In a lot of cases, you can even negotiate a no interest payment plan with your doctor's office spread over months or years. After you receive care, you'll want to request an itemized bill. Studies by the Medical Billing Advocates of America suggest that as much as 80% of medical bills contain errors and unwarranted charges. These errors can easily equate to $1,000 differences in your bill. So contact your medical care's billing office to request a detailed breakdown. Then review it carefully and ensure it matches your records and your memory of the care you received. You shouldn't accept any charges that seem wrong or that you don't understand. You can also compare it to the explanation of benefits you receive from your insurance company in the mail. If any charges don't match, call your medical office to discuss it.
So on to loans. The good news is that federal student loan repayments were suspended for most of this year due to emergency COVID-19 relief measures. The not so good news is that the suspension is set to expire in just a few weeks on January 1st. Add personal or car loans to the mix and a good chunk of your monthly paycheck may be going toward repayments. Our lending expert, Anna Serio, has strategies you can use to lower repayments in both the short and long term, even if you don't have the best credit.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a senior lending writer here at Finder. And my first tip is to negotiate a lower rate or longer repayment term, preferably both. So you can often call your lender to renegotiate the rates and terms of a car loan, a personal loan, or a private student loan. This is best for when you've lost income or your financial situation has otherwise changed indefinitely. When you call, ask to speak directly to a loan officer rather than just calling customer service. They usually can't help you very much. The higher ranking the person is that you speak to, the more likely you are to get a better deal. And it also helps to have documents and proof of financial hardship on hand, like an official letter letting you go from your previous job, or something else showing that your income has decreased since you took out the loan. Try to lower your rate first. Sometimes this can offer enough savings on its own and you don't have to lengthen the term. If you can, also ask for a lower rate and a longer term. This will reduce the amount that you pay in interest and also make a significant dent in your monthly repayments. Try to avoid lengthening the term by itself, since that will increase the cost of your loan. Interest adds up over time, so the more time you take to repay it, the more you'll pay. And another key tip is that when you're able to afford higher repayments, call your lender back and ask for a shorter term. You'll save on interest and you'll get out of debt faster, which will increase your credit score and have a lot of other benefits. Also, consider signing up for deferment, but only when you're in a bind. Most lenders are offering deferment, also known as forbearance, as a solution to borrowers, especially those affected by COVID-19. This allows you to pause repayments, usually for 3 months at a time. Some lenders offer up to a year, some others offer up to 3 years. And some are offering this on a month-by-month basis during this unique situation that we're all in right now. This is usually meant to be a last resort kind of solution because it can make your loan cost a lot more after your repayments start. The real danger is something called interest capitalization. So how this works is interest continues to add up while your loan is in deferment or forbearance. And when repayments start again, that interest gets added to your loan balance. So basically you're paying interest on interest. You'll get higher monthly repayments and a higher total loan cost. So if you can,
or if you do have to defer, ask for 0% interest during that deferment period. Some lenders might be willing to offer this, others might not be so flexible, but it's definitely worth to ask. And also ask if you can extend your loan term by the amount of time that you put your loan into deferment, so you don't have to pay higher monthly repayments based on a shorter period of time. So if you have federal student loans, try switching repayment plans rather than going into deferment or forbearance. For federal loans, only direct subsidized loans don't accrue interest during this time. So you'll end up paying more, and the same dangers that I just warned about will affect you. So as Kelly mentioned, federal student loan forbearance ends in January, and you can prepare by talking to your servicer or going to the website and seeing what options are available to you. There are 2 repayment plans that I think can help you save the most. One is the income-driven repayment plan. If you have federal loans, you probably received an email from the Department of Education recommending this. It's a good long-term solution that gives you $0 monthly repayments when you're unemployed. And it's particularly good if you're in a low-paying field, or if you want to apply for public service loan forgiveness. This is actually required. But the main drawback is that interest that you don't pay while you're on this plan capitalizes if you switch. Some plans will kick you off. Other plans are better for married couples, and others are good for people who are single. So if you get married while you're on this plan, you might want to switch, and you'll have to pay that capitalized interest. It's not always all of the interest that adds up, but it's a decent amount of money that you'll have to pay. So only choose that plan if you really think you're going to stick with it till the end. Another repayment plan that is helpful for making room in your budget when you're not sure how long you'll need to cut back on expenses is the extended repayment plan. This increases your loan term to 25 years and will lower your monthly repayments. I use it as a temporary fix for indefinite situations. I was enrolled in this for a few years when I lived abroad and wasn't making very much money. And it really helped me afford my living expenses. You can switch to another plan without penalty. That's like the main benefit of this plan. But, and you really want to do that as soon as you can afford repayments. A long-term means there's a lot of time for interest to add up. While I was enrolled in this plan, I was said to owe more in interest than I borrowed for my degree. So that wasn't really ideal. One drawback to this is that if you have a really high loan balance, say over $100,000, it might not make your loans that much more affordable, and you'll pay a lot in interest. So you might want to consider a shorter term solution like deferment in that case.
Thanks, Anna. All right, so you may know somebody who unplugs everything in the house when it's not in use, and you might think that's pretty silly, or at the very least excessive, but it turns out they might be onto something. Katya Arabasi's got tips to save on utilities and work green energy practices into your daily life.
Yes, those people are definitely onto something, and ghost charges can haunt your electricity bills. As long as they're plugged in, all electronic devices draw power. This kind of energy loss is known as phantom power or vampire power. And believe it or not, it makes up around 25% of all residential energy consumption, which is crazy. So please do try to unplug appliances and devices when you're not using them, especially phone chargers, blenders, toasters, and humidifiers. They produce vampire power because electricity is still flowing through the cords. For example, a single phone charger may cost you $4 to $5 in ghost charges per year. That doesn't sound like much, but think of all the appliances you have plugged in 24/7, and those costs quickly add up. You can use a smart strip to manage your appliances. Simply plug a bunch of electronics like your computer, TV, modem, and printer into a single power bar, and then switch off the bar when you're not using any of those devices. While you're at it, also steer clear of standby mode if you can. Many devices go into standby or power saving mode when you're not using them. But when this happens, they're only partially turned off, which means they're still eating up electricity without performing any real function. It's also a good idea to buy electronics and appliances with the Energy Star label. They use up to 50% less energy than standard models and can help you cut your energy bills by 5 to 10%, which is pretty significant. Lastly, try to use your dishwasher and washing machine throughout the day, not at night. Across the country, energy is most expensive at around 6 p.m. So if you can, try to shift your behavior and use those really big appliances in the morning or during the day.
I did not know that last one, Katya.
Fun fact.
So on to parenthood. As a parent, let me tell you this, raising kids can get expensive fast. And it's not just diapers, clothes, and toys. Today's parents face costs our own parents couldn't have expected, like technology and the extra help needed to, say, shift to remote learning. All of it can stretch the family budget paper thin. Yet, if you're willing to get creative and live by the motto, it takes a village, there are clever savings to be had.
So buying diapers in bulk and saving on diapers. One way to save is to buy in bulk. So instead of thinking price per pack, think price per diaper. After calculating the unit cost you're paying for each diaper, you could be saving near $200 a year versus buying ongoing 20 packs of diapers. Places like Amazon, Sam's, Costco, or diapers.com offer large quantities of diapers at a reasonable price. Keep in mind, though, that when buying large quantities of diapers, your baby will be growing, so try not to overbuy a particular size.
Also, I know it sounds earthy and maybe a little crazy, but consider cloth diapers, especially if you're home with your newborn or toddler. It's an investment and it takes some planning, but it can save you big in the long run. Brands like Bum Genius and Charlie Banana offer models that fit like disposables and they grow with your baby. And wet bags and toilet attachments simplify maintenance between washes. My initial $250 investment carried my son through the end of potty training with enough life left in the diapers to donate to another family when we were done.
Go on vacation with other families and share an Airbnb. With the pandemic, it's worth careful consideration if or who you plan to share your vacation or holiday travel plans with. However, if you are visiting family or taking a holiday trip, booking a 2 or 4 bedroom that can accommodate your family and others can cut your cost in half or more depending on how many ways you split it. Plus, it's important to do the math. Some Airbnb hosts offer weekly or monthly discounts. So in some cases, it could be cheaper to book a full 7 days versus just 5 or 6. Just be sure to check both options to make sure you aren't missing a discount.
The average hourly rate for a babysitter is nearly $17 for one child and over $19 for 2 kids, according to the 2019 annual study by Urban Sitter. But to save on costs, you can take turns watching each other's kids 1 day a week instead of paying for daycare. If you have friends with kids, you can also look into sharing a nanny, or you can look into a childcare co-op. Many cities have these co-ops which rotate shifts among parents for regular or even occasional babysitting at a low cost.
And with the baby gear a big part of your parenting budget, you can save a bundle through apps designed to extend the sharing economy into your nursery. BabyQuip and GoBaby are just 2 companies that can connect you with parents willing to rent out their cribs, strollers, and other high-dollar items. You can also make a few bucks renting out gear your own kids have outgrown. Most of these companies take care of pickup, cleaning, setup, and even insurance, taking about 20% of your fee as commission. Talking about side hustles, we've all heard the cliched advice for making extra cash, just drive for Uber. But trust that our team has done the research and it's just not as simple as it sounds. Other side hustles actually are that simple. You just might need to love pets or words or online marketplaces to take advantage of them.
Yes, we are all about the fun side hustles here at Finder. And if you're a pet lover, pet sitting won't even feel like work. You can sign up to an app like Rover, Barkley Pets, or Holodog and earn money for looking after other people's pets while they're at work or out of town. And to give you an idea of how much you could make, pet sitters in New York earn around $15 an hour and more if there are more pets involved.
Writers, designers, coders, customer service reps, and lots of other types of workers can connect online with businesses looking to hire freelancers. This route takes a bit of time, especially if you don't yet have a portfolio, but it can provide steady income once you're set up. You might already know about Upwork and Fiverr, and these general platforms are a good place to start for an idea of rates and services you might be able to offer to people. But for more specialized skills, you can look to sites with a more narrow focus. Sites like Design Crowd and 99 Designs are geared toward artists and designers looking to connect with businesses in need of logos and graphics. For freelance proofreaders and copy editors looking to lend a hand, try Kibben and Proofreading Pal. And for UX, product, and engineering work, look at TopTal and Authentic Jobs.
Instagram is an incredible pool of talent and also income potential. If you're an amateur photographer who spends their time snapping everything from their lunch to their weekend hikes, you could turn that passion into real money by selling your Instagram photos online. There's a huge demand for authentic, candid stock imagery from brands and publishers who want to add non-staged and non-cheesy images to their website, marketing materials, and more. Start by looking into stock photo platforms like Selfie, Candidly, 2020, and Fope.com. Some sites allow you to set your own price or sell packages of photos with specific themes for a special bundling cost.
And now, Alexa Serrano and Katya Ervasi will tie up our tactics with budgeting strategies to sock away and grow all that money you save.
So if you struggle with spending throughout the week or month, you'll want to consider giving yourself a weekly or monthly allowance. And one of the best ways to track your spending is by using a budgeting spreadsheet or app. And this will help you determine how much money you want to spend each month on certain items. So you'll first take your total net income for the month and then make a list of all of your typical bills and then subtract each spend item from your total income and then see how much you have left over for the month. Especially now during the holidays, you'll want to make sure you have a spend category for gifts, and then you'll want to create a separate list of all of the people you're going to get gifts for and divide that total spend limit that you've allocated for gifts in your budget. And when you're looking to trim your spending, it doesn't mean you have to give up your daily latte. It could be as simple as giving yourself a spending limit on a line item like gifts or miscellaneous items, or if you have a subscription to something with a free basic plan, determine if you can switch it.
Budgeting is all about keeping a close eye on how much money you have coming in and how much you have going out. We're fans of a few different methods here. The first one is the 50-30-20 system. This is super popular and also super simple. What you do is you allocate 50% of your income towards needs, like rent, groceries, and utility bills. 30% goes towards wants, like entertainment and retail. And 20% goes straight to your high yield savings account, preferably, or paying off debt. With this method, 100% of your income is accounted for, and you're spending no more than a third on wants. The second system we like is called the zero-based budgeting system. This is when you take all of your income each month and then funnel it into a budgeting category, such as expenses, debt, and savings, until you have no money left. It's called zero-based because you make sure that your income minus your expenses equals zero every month. Now, this doesn't mean you spend every dollar you earn. It means you're giving all of your pennies a purpose. Some dollars might go towards food and rent, while others go towards student loans and your emergency fund. In the end, every single penny is accounted for. This system gives you a lot of control and flexibility to reallocate your money as needed because life happens, right? For example, if you budget $250 for utilities and they end up costing you $300, you can pull an extra $50 from your dining out category to cover the difference. In the end, you haven't overspent. You've simply readjusted your budget based on your needs. You can track your expenses manually or use an app like EveryDollar or You Need a Budget to do the work for you. One of our writers actually used YNAB to help her pay off $18,000 in student loans in 10 months. So it's definitely worth checking out. The third system is the cash envelope system. Alexa, you like this one, right?
Yeah, so the envelope budgeting system, it's a visual way to categorize how much you want to spend in each category of spending. So traditionally, you would keep an envelope, like physical envelopes labeled. For instance, one could be labeled eating out, and you'd add the amount of money in cash in that envelope that you'll spend for that designated spend category. This stops you from spending more money than what you intended, and whatever money you have left over at the end of the month will be money you have saved. So that's the traditional way of doing it, but there are budgeting apps like Good Budget and Envelopes and digital accounts like Cube Money that do the same thing, where you'll designate a specific amount of money into a spend category.
Automatic payments are great because you can set them and forget them, but it's also really easy to lose track of the bills that you're paying. So every few months, try to audit those automatic payments. There are also a few apps that can scan your bank statements, identify those payments, and try to negotiate them down for you, which is pretty cool. You can look into Truebill, Trim, Bill Shark, or Clarity Money. Yes, so free trials above all are a marketing ploy. Sure, you're seeing content you'd otherwise have to pay for, but companies are counting on you forgetting to cancel. To work around this, if you do sign up for a free trial, set a calendar alert to cancel by a certain date, which is usually the day before it's set to renew. And if you've been paying a subscription for a while and never used the service, call customer support and ask for a refund. It's worth a try because some companies will honor that if it's clear you have no intention of using that service.
So budgeting doesn't have to be boring or tedious. You can make it fun by getting a friend or buddy to help you keep on track. And you can even turn it into a game where you both set a goal to save a certain amount of money by the end of the month. And there are even digital banks that allow you to share your savings goals with your friends and family to help keep you accountable. For instance, there's a digital bank called Jelly, and it's a combo of a budgeting and digital bank account. It lets you share your savings goals with friends where they can make comments and even contribute toward your savings goals. So there's no right way to save. It all depends on what works for you and your financial goals. So if you try one way and it doesn't work, then you just want to try something different. There are many strategies when it comes down to saving your spare change. There's the typical jar saving strategy where you'll just add spare change anytime you get it. It could be anywhere from pennies, quarters, dollar bills. There's also one called the $5 trick, and that's when you save $5 worth of change and you put it away every time you get it. There's also one called the penny challenge, and this is where you'll collect pennies every day at the start of the year. For instance, on day 1, you'll add 1 penny into the jar. On day 2, you'll add 2 pennies, and so on and so forth. With this challenge, you could save $164 in just pennies in 6 months, and that would account to $667 in 1 year. There's also a 52-week savings plan that works in the same way, but instead of pennies, it would be $1 on day 1, and then on day 2 it would be $2 and so on. With the 52-week savings plan, you could save up to $1,378 by the end of the year. So if you find that you're not good about manually moving your extra cash into your savings, consider automating it. You can either split your direct deposit and have a percentage go into your savings, or consider an app like Digit that automates your savings for you.
Tax season is coming up, which is always fun. If you typically get a tax refund each year, then you're actually paying too much in taxes. So to keep more money in your pocket throughout the year, try changing your tax withholdings. To do this, you have to fill out IRS Form W-4 with your employer and change the number of exemptions you claim. The more exemptions, the less money your employer withholds. To learn more about how to adjust your exemptions to get a $0 tax return, use the fee estimator on the IRS website. We also have a step-by-step guide to doing this on our website, which we'll send in our follow-up email after this webinar.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we made it. Thanks so much, team. And with that, let's get to questions. If you haven't already, type your questions into the Q&A box and let us know if you'd like to hear about any of the tips we've talked about today. Jen, did you want to direct the first question to the experts?
Yes, it looks like our first question is for the insurance team. Someone's asking what website they can use to compare different auto insurance rates to find the lowest or best rate for them.
Yes, I can take this one. So Finder is a great comparison website to compare your car insurance rates and just different companies that might fit your driving needs. So a few tools that you might find useful are our review pages to look at the pros and cons and just the different coverage and features that each company offers, as well as the sample rates that we often have at the top of the page for the major insurance companies. Usually when we have those sample rates at the top, it will include rates from different states like California and Texas to give you a broad idea of what you might be paying.
Awesome, thanks, Sarah. Our next question is about student loans. So I'm going to direct this one to Anna. Someone's asking if they have federal student loans and whether you think forgiveness is on the horizon under the Biden administration and what you would recommend people do if they have federal student loans right now.
Yes, the $1 million question of will they be forgiven? So right now, Biden doesn't have any official plan to forgive student loans. He's expressed support for forgiving $10,000 in federal student loans for all borrowers, but you have to do that through an executive order since it seems like he won't be able to get it through Congress. And he hasn't really indicated whether or not he plans on doing that. However, he does have a few expansions of current student loan forgiveness programs in his platform that are worth noting. For example, he plans on expanding public service loan forgiveness and completely changing it so that everyone who's enrolled in it gets, I think it's $5,000 a year up to, he's changing that so it's easier to qualify for. I don't have the exact numbers on hand. And he's also making it easier to enroll in income-driven repayment, which ends with forgiveness after a 20-year or 25-year term currently. He would just reduce it to one plan that requires a lower monthly repayment than any of the current plans have. So those are two things to look out for. But in the meantime, I think it's best to sit tight and just wait to see what happens. As this year has shown us, like anything can really happen right now. So it's not good to make any rash decisions based on an assumption that you will get forgiveness. Also, it's good to hold off on refinancing your student loans if you have federal loans, because in the event that they are forgiven, you'll lose out on the $10,000 that you could have otherwise saved.
Right. And that's because if they do forgive student loans, they're only going to be forgiving federal student loans, correct? It won't apply to private?
Well, we don't know. I mean, there have been proposals to also forgive private student loans, but it's more likely that federal student loans will be forgiven. I think the president has more power over that than private lending.
Got it. That makes sense. Thanks, Anna. Our next question is for the insurance team. Someone wants to know if they're locked into their insurance policy if they already paid in full for the year, or are they able to switch and get a refund?
Yes, so the prorated refund that most companies give will apply if you did pay your premium in full as well. So you can go ahead and just contact your insurance company about the cancellation process before you start to look around. That way you have a heads up on the process and any cancellation fees, and then you'll be told what your prorated refund will be after you go ahead and do the switch.
Got it. Thanks, Sarah.
And it looks like our last question is, can you update your tax withholdings at any time throughout the year? I can actually answer this one, and the answer is yes. But the earlier you update your W-4 with your employer, the more time it allows for the changes to take effect, and the more of a difference you'll see in your actual refund that you receive. And anyone else have any other questions? All right, I think I'll pass it back to you, Kelly.
Great. Well, it looks like it's a wrap. Thank you to our financial experts on the panel for sharing the wealth today. And thanks to you for joining us for our very first webinar. As promised, please keep an eye on your inbox for an ebook covering everything we talked about and a few extras that you can put to use to trim hundreds of dollars from your budget. And please don't let this be the last we hear from you. If you have tips of your own that you'd like to share with the team or any financial successes you'd like to crow about, connect with us on social media or reach out to any of our experts on today's panel. We stand ready to help with questions that might come up even after we say goodbye. So thank you again for joining us. Until next time, friends.